Hello everyone and Happy New Year! It's time to kick off Fossil Fact Friday, and this time I'll be drawing a very nostalgic friend of mine. Welcome friends to the first ever Fossil Fact Friday. In this new series, I'm going to be getting real nerdy about really cool prehistoric creatures while you watch me draw them. I absolutely love dinosaurs and other prehistoric beasts, and I can't wait to share some of my favorites with you in this new series. Before we begin, just a caveat, I am obviously not a trained paleontologist or scientist in any way. I just really enjoy prehistory and love to share that interest with others. I've done my very best to check facts, and as of this recording, they should be pretty accurate. That said, I'm not perfect, and I welcome constructive discussion in the comments regarding the stuff I talk about in the video. Also, if you have any suggestions or feedback for future Fossil Fact Friday videos, I welcome those as well. Okay, so let's dive in with a nice simple piece today. When thinking about the first prehistoric subject I wanted to feature in this series, I decided to go with the one that started it all for me. The one that sent me down the road to being super nerdy about dinosaurs and paleontology for pretty much my entire life since. The one that made me go, whoa, I can't believe these were actually real and lived on this earth. You may be looking at these thumbnail sketches and thinking, oh yeah, of course, it's totally Tyrannosaurus Rex. And while it definitely resembles the world's most popular dinosaur sweetheart, this is not T-Rex. This handsome chunky beast is Daspletosaurus. So Daspletosaurus means frightful lizard, and it was indeed very closely related to T-Rex. It was a fellow tyrannosaurid dinosaur that lived in what is now Western North America in the late Cretaceous period, which was about 75 million years ago or so, near the tail end of the Paleozoic era, which is when most dinosaurs lived. It was at the end of the Cretaceous period that the famous mass extinction event occurred that wiped out all non-avian dinosaurs, as well as many other animal and plant species. Daspletosaurus wouldn't have been around for that grand event though, it lived just a little bit before that time. Daspletosaurus belongs to a group of dinosaurs called theropods, which is a group that also includes birds. Yes, even modern day birds, who modern science has concluded are feathered theropod dinosaurs. Dinosaurs never fully went extinct. The next time you want to see a dinosaur, just go bird watching. I'm likely going to cover that whole subject more in a future Fossil Friday video. But for now, this big toothy bird relative I'm drawing today was bipedal, meaning it walked on 2 feet, much like a bird. Early paleontology artwork, paleoart for short, depicted tyrannosaurs like Daspletosaurus as standing very upright, resting their tail on the ground and lumbering about with big fat heavy bodies. More recently, researchers have concluded that tyrannosaurs actually would have held a more horizontal posture, with their tail held out straight behind them to balance their heavy heads. And while they were indeed really heavy creatures, it's likely that their muscles were much more lean than we originally thought, and many of them could move quite quickly. This drawing of Daspletosaurus actually turned out a little more upright in posture than I had originally planned. This is one of the reasons I'd like to practice paleo art more. But for now, let's assume that this one is taking pause to look up and observe its surroundings. Before doing this drawing, I did some research based on Daspletosaurus fossils and descriptions from the Oldman Formation in southern Alberta, which is one of several fossil-rich formations in that region. It's where the first species of Daspletosaurus, which is D. turosus, was discovered back in 1921. When it was originally discovered, researchers initially thought it was a new species of a different tyrannosaurid dinosaur, Gorgosaurus, which was first discovered in 1913 around the same region. However, they eventually categorized it as a new species in 1970, Daspletosaurus. So Daspletosaurus and Gorgosaurus would have coexisted together in the region they inhabited, which is interesting because as far as science knows so far, it was pretty uncommon to have 2 tyrannosaurid dinosaurs living amongst each other, since they're both apex predators. Both types of dinosaurs would have lived in a great big floodplain, along with a ton of other types of dinosaurs, mammals, birds, and other fauna, so they likely would have had a large variety of creatures to prey upon, which might explain why 2 species of apex predator didn't have too many issues coexisting. 2 different species of Daspletosaurus have been officially recorded. The one in Alberta that I just mentioned, as well as a second species that was unearthed in nearby Montana. As of this recording, there are 2 other possible species that have been discovered, but they're still being studied and have not yet been officially confirmed as a species of Daspletosaurus. Anyway, as I said before, Daspletosaurus here resembled old T-Rex in a lot of ways, obviously, but was a fair bit smaller, about 8 or 9 meters long as an adult, and its tiny 2-toed forelimbs are also similar to T-Rex, but Daspletosaurus actually had the longest forelimbs compared to its size of any tyrannosaurid. And as you can see by my drawing, which is relatively accurate, they still weren't long enough to be very useful. You might be wondering at this point why a Daspletosaurus, of all things, is so special to me. It's really kind of a smaller T-Rex, and astute observers will know that it's by far not my favorite dinosaur. That award belongs to my beloved Parasaurolophus. So why is Daspletosaurus so special? Well, the city I grew up in and currently reside in, Ottawa, Canada, has a beautiful natural history museum, the Canadian Museum of Nature. When I was young, it featured a live insect exhibit, a huge gallery of taxidermied animals and birds, a giant spider in the foyer, which was both terrifying and awesome, and of course, a huge dinosaur exhibit. And even now, it does still have all those things except for the giant spider, which has recently been replaced by things such as a giant jellyfish and a giant moon. Anyway, when I was a kid, my mom got a pass for the museum because I wanted to go so often. I loved every bit of it, but especially the dinosaur exhibit. Then and now, the centerpiece of the exhibit was the holotype fossil specimen of, you guessed it, Daspletosaurus. The holotype specimen means that the specimen that's displayed in our museum is the specimen that was discovered in 1921 in Alberta. Seeing that gigantic tyrannosaurid so often is what made me fall in love with dinosaurs. I even got the opportunity to sleep over at the museum a few times with my Girl Guide group, and every single time, I would choose to sleep right under the Daspletosaurus skull so I could wake up and look up at its gaping maw. Totally normal, right? So, like I said, despite Daspletosaurus not being my personal favorite, it holds a really special place in my heart. Even now, when I visit the museum with its new, recently updated dinosaur exhibit, seeing that holotype Daspletosaurus fossil front and center fills me with a warm sense of nostalgia. I hope you enjoyed this little Daspletosaurus speed paint. It was a really simple image to make this time. I hope that some future Fossil Fridays are going to have slightly more complex illustrations, but I wanted to start easy, and this was a really enjoyable homage to a dinosaur that has a lot of personal history with me. If you liked this video and you're looking forward to the next one in the series, be sure to thank Daspletosaurus for getting us here, and consider supporting my work on Patreon. Your support helps me be able to focus more on video and content production and creating more paleo art and Fossil Fact Friday videos. Patrons will get access to exclusive development and business chat, behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, first picks on post and video topic polls, monthly podcasts by yours truly, digital freebies, and much more. Check it out in my channel header or in the description below. As always, I welcome suggestions for future videos and invite you to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for joining me on my first Fossil Fact Friday, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!